Actually, I was supposed to speak before you, but God has His ways. Has His ways. So I'm very glad that I'm here, and your story is so inspiring and it's so touching, and it's not too far from what I want to speak about. So unfortunately, originally I am Brenda, so in terms of the language, I'm also let me not bite my tongue. I'll speak in English. So I hope all of you can hear me. Is it okay? Yes. Is it okay? So by name I'm Thabang Manenzhe. So by profession I do a few things. I'm an industrial engineer. I'm a real estate agent. So real estate agent is just basically to sell houses. I'm a property investor. So I just buy property, rent them out, or buy and sell them. Also I'm a YouTuber. So on YouTube I give tips on personal finance. I give tips on personal growth. I give tips on real estate as a whole. So, like I'm gonna talk most of the things, and I'm gonna also mix with what you are saying, because our messages are the same. When God, this is the day that God has made, actually. Because when He said, I must come speak here, He must come speak here, the messages must be in line with each other, right? So that it just to emphasize what God wants to pass into your lives, right? So I've not lived that long, right? You can see I'm still very young, much like you. So I've not lived that long. But even though I've not lived that long, and even people that have lived longer than me, I think they will agree with me that life is very hard. I think we have heard from his story that life is very hard. Right? Who agrees or who disagrees? Anyone? Is there anyone that disagrees that life is very hard? So, who agrees with me? Okay. So, we all agree by design that life is very hard. Amen. Right? I want to emphasize that life is very hard. And sometimes it often feels like we are in control of our lives, but yet we are not in control. Who agrees? Are we in control? No, we are not in control. Not at all. So I want to speak about living the life of vision, right? The life of integrity, like my brother was saying. The life of faith. Who wants to live a life of faith? Right? Who wants to impact with their life the life of others, like you said? So we're all in agreement, right? That we want to live the life of faith. As we all agree that life is hard, right? Because there's always things changing around us, right? There's always things changing around us. Like nothing is constant. Actually, the only thing that is constant is change itself. Right? Change is the only constant. So it means that whatever that will be changing is only change. Are you still with me? Right? So what does that mean? Does it mean because life is so hard and life is always changing, does that mean that we must give up on life? What does it mean? Does it mean that we must give up on life? No. I say hell no. It doesn't mean that we must give up on life. Because God designed life to be tough. Right? He never designed it to be easy. Because if it's easy, then we become complacent as people. And that's where growth stops. You will never grow if things are easy. We all understand that. That's why even a child, when they are born, right? They are born and they start a whole process of growth, right? From the beginning until the end. Actually, we never ever stop growing. Whether physically or spiritually or mentally. Like I can safely say that the person I was 5 years ago is not the same person I am today. Because there's constant what? Growth. And that's what you want. Do you think in your life right now, you are growing as a person? I'm not talking about just physically. Mentally, spiritually, education-wise, do you think you are growing as a person? Because that's very much important. You need to maintain growth. Right? We agree? You need to maintain growth. So what makes life hard? What makes life hard? Is the constant change we're talking about. The constant change in your finances. Right? Maybe right now you don't really understand that. But in the future you will know. The constant change in relationships. So he spoke about a relationship change. Right? His parent was no more. And now changing his whole life, isn't it? Right? So there can be health. There can be a constant change in health. That makes life hard, isn't it? So I can talk about so many things that, can make your life very hard. So, but I want to focus on one. Finance, right? And I'm so jealous because at your age, nobody sat me down and spoke to me about this thing. So you are very, very, very lucky, fortunate that people are taking their time to talk to you about this at a very young age. So, which means that you must be way much better than us. You must go to the length or levels that we have never gone to because you were exposed to this knowledge at a very young age. Right? So, a life of value, like I started and I said I want to speak about the life of value. One thing that drives people to live a life of value is freedom. Right? It's freedom. Especially financial freedom. Most people today, they don't live the life of value because they don't have their financial freedom. Right? So, actually, I defined here what is actually financial freedom, right? So, financial freedom is the ability to live comfortably without being constrained by financial obligations and limitations. Right? So, I'm hoping, right, from where I stand, that the reason why you are here is to be a better person, is to be somebody in the future, is to be a businessman, to be a celebrity of some sort, to be someone. In actual fact, you can be whoever you want to be, but the investment must start now to prepare yourself to get to the level that you want to be. Right? So, financial freedom is so very important. Right? Because it sort of programs how the people think. Right? It sort of determines the mental state of everyone, whether you are a dependent person or you are an independent person. And if you are a dependent person, in most cases you depend on others, right? And you cannot take your own decisions. Who wants to live life like that? take decisions at your own accord, to do things that you want to do, to add value where you want to add value. Who wants to live like that? So, the ones that are not raising their hands, they don't want to live like that. Huh? You know, I want to be independent. I want to be able to make my own decision when I want to make the decision. Not depend on someone. Because there's something that I like to say, that if you are not a driver, you're a passenger. Right? And the destination that you will reach is not the destination that you want to reach. It's the destination of the person that is actually driving. Right? So I want to be the driver. So you want to be the driver of your own life so that you reach the destination you want to get to. Who wants to be the driver of their life? So when do you think you must start driving your life? When do you think you must start driving your life? Now. So if you need to start driving now, then you need to have, he talked about imagination. He talked about vision. So now if you are driving, you must have a visualization of actually where you are going. I just appreciate that. Like I said, most of the things we're talking about are in mind. Right? So if you are starting to drive now, you must have the what? The vision. You must have the imagination. You must have the what? The faith. And you properly explained what faith is. So I'm not going to go back on that one. So, in finance, because I mean you are still at a very, very young age, so I don't want to bombard you with a whole lot of complex stuff. I want to make it so much simple that it's easier for you to understand now. Right? So in finance, there's basic things. Right? I'm not sure what grade you are, but probably at some point you will be exposed to this information. Right? I want to talk about mainly two things. Right? I want to talk about the difference between an asset and a liability. Right? And I want to talk about debt. Debt in our language is scorod. Huh? Scorod. Yeah? So in finance and in actually financial freedom, those things are very much important to understand. If you don't understand those basic things, you are gone. Because if you look at our parents, and most people where they are staying, they are crippled because of not understanding what an asset is, what a liability is, what scorable is. And that's it. Just understanding of that will save your life. Actually, the Bible speaks about who is the borrower, right? And who's the lender. It speaks about the borrower is a slave to the lender. It's in the Bible, right? Now, if it's in the Bible like that, that just means that in today's life, it's modern day slavery. Debt, scholarship. Modern day slavery. Most of the things that your parents cannot afford, or most of the things that the people in our community cannot afford, it's mainly because of not understanding scholarship, not understanding debt. Right? So let me start again with an asset, the difference between an asset and a liability. So, basically there's a guy that actually, talked about that in detail and it makes it so simple. I don't know if you guys do you know about a book called The Rich Dad Poor Dad? Who knows that book? So I would like So basically what he says, in simple terms, an asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. Anything that puts money in your pocket. And a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Right? That's the most simple and basic explanation of the difference between an asset and a liability. Now, who wants to own assets? Who wants to own liability? So none of you. So that's a good thing that you understand. He spoke about something that, us, especially as black people, we have this thing that we want to be seen. It's not about doing what we want to do for ourselves. It's about doing things to be seen by others. Who wants to live like that? No one. Then you guys are in the journey to live a life of freedom. Because you are not living your life to impress anybody. You are living your life to what? A life of substance. To add value in other people's life, in your family's life, and also in your life. Right? So, I just want to understand. Then, I'm sure all of you want to buy a car at some point, right? What car do you want to buy? Huh? What? Oh, what do you like about it? Huh? Why do you choose Polo specifically? Huh? It's a favorite car. Now I want to understand what makes it your favorite car. Okay. As your first car, what do you want to buy? Huh? A Rolls Royce. Yes. How much is it? More than 1 million. Okay. I'm going to finance it. And have a successful life. What do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be? Nice. How can I buy your first car? Porsche. Okay. What do you want to be when you grow up? A scientist. It's very nice. You want to be a scientist and you want to be dermatologist. What? Huh? Dermatologist. Oh, sorry. What? Oh, same doctor. Okay. It's very, very nice that you are visualizing where you want to go. And that's the most important thing. Right? But I can tell you now. But for your first car, a Rolls Royce. For your first car, a Rolls Royce. What do you like about the Rolls Royce? Who said the Rolls Royce? Is it you? What do you like about it? Yeah. Okay. So, let's talk about a Rolls Royce for your first car. Right? And let's talk about your age at that point. I mean, if you are a skin doctor or something, I'm not sure about the specifics, but